Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. I'm Stevothehuman. Today, Spaz and I will riff another bad Toho fic.
Yippee skippy.
Huzzah, that deserves a drink.
Yes.
By the way, I have alcohol to aid me to endure this.
And I have Mountain Dew.
Today's fic is called Lost in Gensokyo, written by Indonesian teenager Rio Abstract. This is his first English language opus, so you can expect plenty of grammatical errors that will mostly be overlooked for time restraints. As in, even though I'm only 21 now, I'll be dead before I finished if I tried to riff all the typos in English.
But the thing is, there are editors out there on fanfiction sites and whatnot that will, fix up English and bad grammar for good storytellers. The key word being good storytellers. I used to do this for a French webcomic called The Road Sweeper, which was about a janitor, and the guy had pretty bad English, but then I'd fix up the comics for him, and they were twice as funny once they were fixed.
Alright,
But again, it was a good comic.
Yay. Well, as for the story, it's another Gappy Stu fic. Sorry! A Spirited Away Stu fic.
It's
One
the
where he
proper term. I've got a monocle.
One where he establishes Reisen Udonge Inaba as his waifu. No, that's not a spoiler. I found that out in the synopsis. Speaking of the synopsis... yeah, you're reading this time.
Okay. Let me get my dramatic voice. Okay. Synopsis. A middle teenager boy... Okay, now I'm ready. A middle teenage boy spirited away to Gensokyo, choosing whether he wants to get home or stay in Gensokyo, while he didn't realize he fell in love with one of the girls and some mysterious cases happen in there. An artist's self-insertion fanfic may contain mild romance in the latter part.
Well, at least he warns us that it's going to be public masturbation.
Now, it's a common writing tactic to force the main character to make a choice, but here's the thing. While literary tactics make this choice either early on and between two very hard choices or during the climax, the commercial tactic is as long as there's a choice there, no matter how lopsided, it's just fine.
Yay! Anyway, our prologue.
Prologue, Spirited Away.
Oh look, he didn't proofread.
It was a fine day when Fujiwara no Moko, the immortal who guards the bamboo forest of the lost, take a quick noon patrol before lunch. Fun fact, Moko rarely eats unless she absolutely needs to.
Canon!
She roams around while looks like she walks aimlessly. She does know which path are she at.
But no one knows which tense the story is supposed to be told.
Sigh. She took a deep breath. Why am I doing this after all? It's not like there are any villagers who are stupid enough to lose here.
They'd rather lose at casinos.
Then she settled down and opens up a box that covered with a napkin. It was a lunchbox, homemade by Kaine, who was one of Moko's friends in the human village. After finishing it in no time, she took a cup-like container that contains water in it.
You mean a cup of water?
I think it's a thermos. Because it's Moko.
Okay. Oh, I see what you did there.
That was good, as expected from Kaine's homemade box lunches. I must explain my thoughts out loud or the readers won't hear them. When she decides to take a nap and begin to close her eyes, she hears a small sound of something hit the ground.
That will be her body hitting the ground. I think she forgot to lie down before falling asleep.
She stand up, look around her, while her hand in her trouser pocket, holding her spell card, just in case. Then she noticed something on the ground not far from her.
Ooh, a quarter! Oh no, that's just another self-insert.
Is that? She walks closer to take a good view. A person! She quickly ran to the body. When she close enough to the person, she see that he appears to be a relatively young man, perhaps around teen ages.
This fic is hip and cool, cause one of the characters is a teen, gnarly, radly, radical, tubular, awesome, doo-doo-doo, epic fail.
He's a teenage boy, and many of the Toho girls look teenage, and even though he's about to fall in love with a girl at least 40 years old, looking like a person establishes rapport.
I'm okay with him with a teenage boy falling in love with someone who's 40 plus. I mean, it'd be hypocrisy for me because I was once a teenage boy who flirted with women twice or sometimes 3 times my age.
Those cougars.
Oh yeah, those cougars.
Hey, are you okay? She tried to ask him, but the man didn't respond. Hey! She turned the man that's now lying on his back. She tried to poke his cheeks and checking his body temperature and heartbeats.
That's not how you check temperature and heartbeat. I mean, you don't just touch their cheek. My mother's a nurse. I would know this.
My mother's also a nurse. And I think he means the veiny area behind the neck, but I mainly check the wrist for vitals in these kind of situations.
Oh yes, the carotid artery. You know, there's such a thing as a dictionary.
Well, as a normal dude, I call it the veiny area. If I told a dude, hey, check his carotid, they'll probably start unzipping their pants or whatnot.
What do you think the carotid sounds like? Oh well.
Moving on. It looks like the man's fainted because of exhausting. Perhaps I need to bring him to the A&T. Moko put the man to her shoulder while he noticed there was a big bag and a pair of glasses on the ground that likely belongs to the man's possession.
Oh my god, she almost killed Waldo.
She attached the bag on her back and putting glasses to the man's head, then walked towards the A&T.
Not just any A&T, the A&T, bitches!
Short after it, they reached A&T. Who'da thunk?
Who'da thunk?
After spoke with Tay and Aileen comes to entreat the man as quick as possible.
Another outsider? Sure, he'll make a better lab rat than these rabbits.
Come, I am here, Aileen said as Moko brings the man inside the examination room. She lies the man on the bed, then putting his bag to the table beside it. Aileen makes a several examining that doesn't look different like the one that Moko's done earlier, but considering Aileen is more intelligent than her.
This is not goodly, denoued Aileen while making medic examinations with Brahm. Now I miss Hans von Hosel.
It's okay, he's just fainted because of fatigue, but... Aileen takes a glance to the man. He's a bit strange, isn't he?
A little overpowered?
This is why I don't overclock. Moko continues Aileen's sentence, yes.
Aileen finished her sentence already. Wako's just answering it. I learn how questions work.
The man's physical appearance is not different than usual men from the village.
Then what makes him so strange, Spaztique?
He has a straight black hair, which is a messy one.
A single hair protruding from his head. And I thought Chabape was the only person who made Toho and Charlie Brown crossovers.
Something tells me this is supposed to be read in a thick Italian accent. He has a straight black hair, which is a messy one.
Okay.
His skin is tanned a little bit. His build and muscles are quite builded, even it's not very showed because he's thin and tall.
Boom! Oh yeah! So, is he buff or is he thin? I'm gonna go with but not too buff. We want to make sure our awesome original character is dead sexy. This guy hasn't even had a waking moment in this story, and he's already a Gappy Stu.
His favorite food is cornflakes, and his favorite beverage is water. But the one that makes him strange, that his clothes.
Well, I'm gonna warn y'all listeners, the next paragraph is costume porn, so I don't mind if you fall asleep. I'll completely understand.
Okay, here we go. He wears a short-sleeved white shirt with a strange emblem on his pocket while he was found wearing a gray jacket over it. He wears a gray aquish necktie and pair of trousers, which is the same color. The glasses he wears is more smoother by its lens cut front frames than the one that it made in Gensokyo. His shoes was made by a black cloth-like I wish that would sync up better.
Too bad. It's not supposed to sync up.
Okay. Well, it worked last time. Okay. You provide the beat and I'll go from there. His shoes made by a black cloth-like fabric, and the sole was made of rubber, tied to the feet with light laces, and a wristband with a small bracelet to his hand. The watch, of course, was smaller than the most smaller part on watching Gensokyo, and...
Okay, so he was wearing a business suit and glasses. You could have just summed it up as, he was wearing a business suit and glasses. And now I'm imagining this guy being Clark Kent.
Well, at least he didn't go, he was wearing a suit similar to Raisin's. But it wasn't, because he's not Raisin.
He looks just like Raisin, except his hair is blue.
And he's a man.
I'm pretty sure he comes from the outside world, Aiding declared her mind. So that Yukari is fooling around again, says Moko with a troublesome face.
So he was gapped into Gensokyo. You know, I remember when blaming Yukari's gaps was a silly joke for discontinuities in Toho canon and fanworks. Then some noobs took the fan dumb too seriously.
And for some reason, half of them don't even remember the gapping.
Or do they?
Bum,
Discontinuity,
bum, bum.
discontinuity. Okay, anyway.
Okay.
Moko, can you please contact Kane and the Shrine Maiden?
You must never speak of the armpit priestess by her name. You must refer to her as she who must not be named, or you know.
Okay.
While I treated him here, make them sure to check if there's any more humans like him who spirited away.
You mean gapped, right? You know, calling it spirited away doesn't no longer make it gapped. A rose by any other name is just as contrived of a plot convenience.
It's the elegant term, yes.
Yes, I'm going to have to utilize elegant terms. Tea. No, I don't have tea. I have fine red wine, even better.
I have tea wine. Don't ask me how that's made. It's magic. Okay. Aiding asked to Moko.
Okay, I'll tell her. I'll tell her, and I'll go now. While that stupid, not any good, neat princess noticed me and shows up.
Moko leaves the room.
Oh, and by the way, this has been blessed by a priest, so it's wine, tea, blood. Anyway, I'm going to stop with that joke. Alright, which imperishable knight characters haven't we mentioned yet? Oh, Wriggle. We always forget Wriggle.
And Mystia.
Thanks before, Aiding mentioned. Nah, don't mention it.
As soon as Moko leaves, Aiding calls her Raisin, her assistant, which is a moon rabbit.
We're rabbits on the moon. We shoot bullets for Zood. I don't know how to finish that, honestly.
Yes, go over the Gappy Stu's costume in full detail, but assume we automatically know what a moon rabbit is or looks like.
Well, what's a moon rabbit? Is that, is it tasty? Can I eat it? Does it taste like earth rabbits?
I don't know. Okay.
You've called, Master? Raisin asked. Yes. Could you please bring this man to one of the empty patients' rooms alongside his belongings too?
Aiding ordered.
And get me some coffee. I got weird shit to inject him with tonight.
Of course, right away, Master.
Raisin picks up the bag first when she noticed that the bag is pretty heavy.
Guess what the payoff for that detail is? You'll never guess. Fun fact, I don't remember it now, which should tell you a lot about what it's like.
Then she carried the man by her hands.
And please watch for Tay not to makes prank on our patient.
Yes. Sorry.
Yes, make sure Tay doesn't do anything particularly evil, Udonge. You just might have to extract a certain type of revenge of yours on her. I'll get you the diapers.
No, we're not going there. I'll fetch the beach chairs, masseuse fluffy pillows, and Michael Bolton music, thank you very much.
We're still getting the diapers, right?
No!
Alright, fine.
After a short walk, Raisin opens a sliding door that belongs to an empty room with a set of futon and drawers.
Futon, drawers. Yeah, that room doesn't look empty.
Unless he means except for. She lied the man on the futon and let him rest.
I'm no expert on medicine, but I could swear that constant consciousness is resting.
She puts the heavy bag by the room's corner.
Huff, I really want to know what's in this bag.
She felt her shoulders stiff.
So, Aiding and Moko carried the heavy bag without a problem. But Raisin's having trouble lugging it around. You truly are a useless little bunny, you wimp.
She hanged the man's jacket and necktie by the hanger beside the drawer, his shoes next to it, and putting his glasses beside his pillow. Well, perhaps he'll sleep for a few more hours. She closed the sliding door and leaves.
And that's the end of the first chapter, which is apparently not the first chapter, but the prologue! Call me old-fashioned, but I remember the good old days back when the first chapter was just the first chapter.
The allure of a prologue for new writers is to info dump like crazy. Every instance of an actual prologue used properly involves either an unrelated scene so far into the past that its own self-contained story, or flashing all the way to the climax, or far after the story, and then flashing all the way back to Chapter 1 as the real beginning. Either way, a prologue never starts at the beginning. It's only Chapter 1 that starts at the beginning.
You know, as bad as this fic is, it does have 2 saving graces. I wrote in here a few because I thought I was going to list more than that. No, 2. Anyway, 1, it's in the third person perspective, so there's no need to change points of view at a moment's notice. It won't confuse the reader, and the first chapter is mostly some egomaniacal asshole rambling about himself.
Though the narrator does tend to put a lot of emphasis on the main character. There's third person limited, and then there's third person, look at this character, damn it!
And let's see, the second one, I could tell from the first sentence that it was a Toho fic. I didn't have to wait for a shoehorn title drop for me to know that it was taking place somewhere in Gensokyo, and it stars flying lollies who shoot billions of lasers at each other. As for our original, in huge scare quotes, character in emphatic scare quotes, we know nothing about him other than his physical appearance.
Well, don't you know, Steve-O, appearances are the only thing that we can judge people by. Readers are too shallow to care about personalities or character traits. Costumes define everything. Now, seriously, folks, do you see how absolutely screwed up that statement sounds?
Hopefully he'll wake up by next chapter, but that's as far as my hope goes.
And chances are he's the same awake as he is awake when he's asleep. A limp corpse only there to serve the author as a living prop.
I can't expect him to be likable or even interesting. Well, there's only one way to find out. On to the next chapter.
Chapter 1! Welcome to Gensokyo! We got fucking games! We got everything you want! And we know the names!
Oh, little town of Gensokyo. No complications from the bustling industrialized lifestyle, back when men were men and flying lollies were killing machines.
Tradition! Tradition! Bum, bum, tradition!
Tradition!
Okay. Roughly 12 hours after the man's arrival at Ainte, Alien and Racing visits the room. Oh, hi, Alien and Racing. Oh, that was my Skype. I need to put Do Not Disturb. Bam sauce. There we go. Okay. Roughly 12 hours after the man's arrival at Ainte, Alien and Racing visits the room. Oh, hi, Alien and Racing. While Racing brings a tray of warm breakfast, Alien opens the sliding door. Never mind what the breakfast is. For all we know, it could be a warm, solid mass of something with a sugar-stamped breakfast on it.
AKA hot fun.
He should be awake any minute now. Alien and Racing sat beside the man. Few minutes afterwards, the man's moving. Master, he's awake, Racing said, noticing it. The man sighed and opens his eyes slowly. He just stares blankly at the ceiling when a few seconds later he gets back up. His face a confused face when she glanced at Alien and Racing and the room he's in. The man tried to speak. How do you got here? How do you got here? Alien guessed.
You mean asked? She guessed that he got gapped here.
No, I mean yes. I mean, where's my glasses? I can't see good without my glasses.
Okay, Velma.
Jinkies, my glasses! I can't think without my glasses!
Worst part is we're both wearing glasses. At least I'm wearing glasses.
I'm not wearing glasses. Mine are for mainly driving.
Oh, alright.
The man is in a little panic. Here you are. Racing hands out his glasses. Oh, thank you. When he wears his glasses, which is Alien and Racing barely notice that the lenses are very thick ones.
thick-rimmed glasses. This guy was captain of Gensokyo before it was cool.
I'm trying to think of a hipster joke, but I can't think of anything.
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Yeah, I got spirited away to Gensokyo. It's really obscure. You never heard about it. Yeah, that question. Why am I here? I was only walked on the street when I've enveloped in darkness. Then I ended up on a strange bamboo forest. Well, there's no bamboo forest near my city. Also, keep this in mind. He was walking on a street when he was enveloped in the darkness. Got that, folks?
Wait, he was?
Yeah. It's going to change in the next chapter, remember?
Oh, alright.
Okay.
That's why I'm questioning it.
I forgot. We should have put that in the one we sent the guy.
Oh man. Don't
Oh, well.
worry, I just sent it, so I think we can finish this and you can upload it in a matter of a day or something.
Well, I think the difference here, but it's not much of a difference. It's like, oh man, we should have dropped a 12 billion megaton bomb on that city instead of 11 billion bomb on that city.
Yeah, you have a point there.
Okay. The man begins to explain in a hurry. Whoa, calm down. Maybe I'll say this first.
In a calm and sympathetic voice.
This is not your world!
Okay, maybe not. I don't think shouting at the top of the lungs at your recently awoken patient is good bedside manner, but hey, you're the doc.
Hold on, let me see how loud I'm coming in. Okay, there we go.
You're being pretty quiet.
Well, on Skype, but not the Ustream. Okay.
Oh, alright.
The man's silenced.
Our hero murdered someone?
Sorry, he asked again. This is Gensokyo, a land which is separated by a great border from the outside world where you belong, some sort of other dimension where there are not only humans here, but other creatures like yokai fairies and other social nature deities.
As a rabid Toho fan, this is not news.
Now, good writers use this sort of revelation to impress or scare characters, like, holy crap, I'm in a fantasy world. Bad writers use it to tell the audience. For example, let's see how the Gappy Stu here takes the news. Alien explained calmly. The man just stared in unbelieving. Okay, I've heard a lot of stories like this 100 times.
Wait, have you getting gapped here? Where the heck are you from where people write stories like that?
But seriously? I've been spirited away to a fantasy land named Gensokyo? He asked, as if he'd been told the cash register did not have exact change. Roughly, yes. You are spirited away, judging by the events you've described.
Did I mention he was spirited away?
In case... Oh, spoiler, he got spirited away.
Indeed.
Okay.
Oh, and after this I'm gonna watch a movie called Spirited Away.
Which is infinitely better than this.
Indeed.
Okay, so how did I end up here? I mean, in your house, he asked again. So I've been sucked into what is essentially an alternate dimension. Fair enough, moving on.
I think he's high, dude.
Well, one of our friend find you fainted in the forest. She bronzed you here, so perhaps you should thank her when you meet her later, Alien explained.
This fic reminds me of an amusing anecdote. Let me get Dan, he knows how it goes. Dad? Yeah, what do you want? Here, that's it. Yeah, alright. Alright, so what do you want to tell you about?
Tell them about the arrow.
Okay, to Arrow. There once was a guy who was an adventurer like you, until he took an arrow to the knee. Thing is, it was a poisoned arrow, so it was fatal without medical attention. The doctor came to him in time, but he was about to treat the poisoned wound. Here's the problem. The adventurer demanded that before the treatment, he wanted to know who shot him, where he is, his social status, and where he got the bow and arrow. Because of this long time to collect such information, the victim died before the doctor was allowed to treat him. Okay, why did I tell that?
Go away.
Well, the point of that story was, get on with it!
Or as I like to say, don't show the scene where nothing happens. Corollaries. Don't use a line of dialogue to explain what just happened unless it evokes an emotion out of a certain character. And don't write to, let's see. Oh, and don't write two back-to-back counterproductive scenes that negate each other's outcomes. Oh, let's see, who's speaking? Okay. Alright, I've owed you too. Thanks for the hospitality. The man said. Ned bows his head a little. It's okay, it's our job after all. Now why don't you eat of it? You must be exhausted and hungry, don't you? My assistant have prepared food for you, Aideen offers. Racing puts a small table over the man. Excuse me, sorry. Or,
Said
excuse me,
Maximilian
sorry.
Jazz Hands, who was running down the hall with his pants down and his wig flopping around in understrained anticipation for the orgy at the Scarlet Devil Mansion.
I'm gonna get every single vampire pregnant and have vampire children.
Gonna be
Okay.
the station wagon Walrus deal all over again.
Okay. Then she served the food. It's a complete dish. Rice, miso soup, some fried meat, and a cup of tea. Oh great, now he describes it, but come to think of it, shouldn't he have noticed it or smelled it earlier?
Well, all it says is fried meat, so it's still mystery meat.
And what? And the tea. Oh boy, what flavor? Tea flavor. Ah, thank you very much. The man takes the chopsticks right away and eats the food like he's never eaten for a long time.
I've never been eat, period.
He finished right away. Ah, that's relieving. I was hungry.
No shit!
Fun fact! People eat food! He puts the empty cup. Thank you very much for the food. I hope I'm not bothering you very much. It's fine. I'm glad to see you back to health, says Aideen.
Now it's time for your colonoscopy.
Oh, that's right. I haven't tell you my name, have I?
Yes, I am curious as to what your name is.
My name is... Dun 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 dun.
Oh man!
And he pulls off his sunglasses, regardless whether or not he has sunglasses or not. Stevo, how do you pronounce that?
Satrioak Bramanta!
Satriak! You do it.
Satrioak Bramanta! Hell yes, that is such a badass name. I grow 10 chest hairs every time I say that. Satrioak Bramanta.
But if you prefer my Japanese name, I've recently been using Sakakibara Ryochi as an alias. You can call me Ryochi, or just simply Ryo. Ryo introduced himself.
Well, maybe your name, which might or might not be your legal name, is cool sounding and exotic because of a culture I'm very unfamiliar with. Wanting to replace it with a Japanese name is quite a bad idea. As an otaku for about, a decade, Japanese and faux Japanese names and terms really don't sound as cool. Why not have your name remain Akbramanta instead of this Mexicana? Heck, I bet them Lunarians would love a name they can't pronounce. It'd be sexy. Also, how does he know he's in Japan? Ryo here's just being... I think he's just being an extreme weeaboo by insisting his Japanese name. And why does he have a Japanese name? Oh, because he's an extreme weeaboo. Never mind.
And also, don't forget the non-Japanese name peeps in Gensokyo. I don't think Alice Margatroyd has a Japanese name.
Or Letty Whiterock, or Ellie, or the Prism River Sisters.
Or anyone who isn't Sakia or Koakuma in the Scarlet Devil Mansion. We could keep listing names, but it would take 20 minutes.
Also, when and why did he adapt a Japanese name? Did he convert to Shinto? I have seen the light brought forth by the great sun goddess Amaterasu. I shall change my name in honor of her. From this day forth, my name shall be Sakaki Yomitomo Waka Waka Doodoo Ya. I don't know what that means, but it's okay, as long as it sounds foreign.
Well, Ryokun, my name is Yagakore Aideen, and this is my assistant and apprentice, Reisen Udonge Ninaba.
Aideen introduced herself.
And Raisin, how could you brush off your waifu like that?
You can call me Reisen, Reisen added.
Okay, Yagakoro-san and Raisin.
That's Yagakore's sensei to you, Coprophage. She's a doctor, damn it.
Can you stand now?
Aideen asked. I'll try. Ryo tried to stand up.
Let me help you.
Raisin assists him by holding Ryo's arm. Thank you. Well, still a bit unstable, but I'll do fine, I guess.
Wiggle your big toe. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Good, then please drink this.
Aideen gives a small phial to Ryo. What's this? Ryo asked.
It's my pee.
It's to recuperate your stamina and fatigue. The food are not enough to restore all your stamina, Aiding explained. Oh, well then.
How convenient for such an elixir.
This whole chapter is essentially, let's heal the protagonist! What's to stop us? Nothing! He needs to be healed! Rio drinks it and suddenly feels lighter. Wow, now that's an energy drink!
You could quote all 3 Power First Thirst videos, and it won't be enough for how energy drinkish this moment is. But I'm gonna try anyway. Hey, do you want to feel so energetic?
Screw indigestion, this energy drink kicks in instantly. 5-hour energy.
5
The
hours.
following
of
bad
energy
fanfic
now,
reading is not
no
sponsored by
crash
5-hour energy.
ever. You will never be able to sleep again. Anyway.
Okay. Who's speaking? Oh, okay. Well, Rio, get your belongings and please meet me at the guest room after this. Rayson will keep you company for a while, said Aileen as she's walking down the hallway. I know where this is going. Okay, now where's my belongings? Rio asked in a polite tone while his words isn't. I put your bag in a corner, your jacket, necktie, shoes, and besides the drawer, says Rayson. She's not annoyed at all because Tay is more impolite than Rio. Where the heck was Tay during all of this?
She's with Stokey in the room.
No!
Okay.
Oh, thanks. Rio takes his necktie and wears it. Then he puts on his jacket. Then his shoes.
I must fly off and save the day. Businessman, away!
Then Carrie takes his bag on his back. Well then, I'm ready, Rayson. Let's go to the guest room, as Yagakoro-san's asked. Please be gentle, said Rio in a cheerful tone. Oh, okay, follow me. Rayson replied with a cheerful tone too, because she's very easygoing and good to adapt to people's.
And you couldn't just show us that she was very easygoing and good to adapt it to people's? Whatever the Makai that means?
Let's compare which is more effective. A. The writer is bad at illustrating emotions and personality traits. B. This fic! You'll see that one of them is just a straight fact that we can only assume is true, but we have no proof about its validity. The other illustrates its point by showing us evidence that the writer cannot illustrate emotions or personality traits.
Ta-da!
Say, I thought this is a house, but this is a mansion.
This is a makeshift hospital. Unfortunately, this isn't Sparta.
Rio astonished with the long corridor and number of rooms. Well, this is Ainte, the House of Eternity, which is located in the heart of the Bamboo Forest of the Lost. The mansion
/ hospital / museum / mother-loving Lunarian embassy
is
/
also very
love dungeon.
not Love Dungeon.
Okay.
It's also a very superior hospital and pharmacy. Notice my master, Yagakoro-sensei, is a genius lady that able to make potions and drugs and or any other every purpose. Raisin explained. Wow, so she's a super genius then.
Yes, Rayson just told you that.
Then how old is she, if you know? Rio asked. Raisin put her finger on her chin. Well, I don't know precisely either. She either lived for a few hundred years, if not a few thousands of years. Thousands of what? So she's not an ordinary human. Rio is surprised. Oh yeah, you're an outsider, so you haven't get used to this. Master is Lunarian, a human being that comes to the moon, while Princess Kaguya is also a Lunarian. I am a Lunar Rabbit myself, Raisin explained. Who'd have thought?
As far as I can tell, this is the moon.
Oh, I thought it was just an accessory for cosplays.
I'd question a hospital if it allowed silly fetish cosplay. Not that Rayson's character design promotes silly fetish cosplay. ...
Rio touches Raisin ears. Hey, don't touch it, I'm very sensitive there. She remembered a bit. Whoops, sorry.
Said Unzad. Sorry for what? Riddisker responded. Our daddy taught us not to be ashamed of our dicks. That's 'cause they're such a good size and all.
Sexual harassment is funny / cute. Again, everyone, take note of how wrong that sounds, given the rather realistic context we've been given here. But never mind that, let's talk more exposition.
Yay.
They've still walked down the long corridor. You've You maintain the princess living here, right? Rio asked again. Yes, Princess Kage is a lunarian that's been banished from the moon because she drank the elixir of immortality, Raisin explained. Whoa, elixir of ... immortality? Yes, even Yagakura-Sansa can make that kind of elixir. Rio was astonished even more. Well, I didn't believe it either, but the first time she told me, Raisin chuckled.
Yo ho 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 ho, to ho ho ho.
Rio takes a glance at Raisin's face while she laughed. She was kind of ... cute, he thinks.
Thus their stars have crossed, and Rio and Raisin will be together until someone else who has Raisin for a waifu has a titty fit over it.
I wonder what the shelf life for a romance based entirely on looks and small talk is.
I don't know.
Right. What?
Longer than most celebrity marriages, I say.
I thought that's how they got together in the first place.
Oh, right.
Okay. They arrived at the guest room, but there's not only alien rating, there's another woman who's perhaps of adultery age.
So there's an age that's good for cheating on your spouse? I don't think anyone I know would approve of such a notion.
He's lucky English isn't his first language, because that misuse of the word adultery is inexcusable for English speakers. Great, I wrote speaks. Yet understandable and even endearing for a non-English speaker. Yeah, she's of an adultery age, and that person's of a childry age. He's very teenagerly, that one.
Yo.
It's like elderly. Okay, I got that. She has a two-tone hair, which is blue and silverish.
Technicolor hair on an otherwise bald cowgirl.
She wears a blue dress and white trimming. She wears a red scarf by the collar. She also wears some sort of odd hat. By the time Rio and Raisin arrived, she and Aideen were chatting. Phew, he didn't have to show the scene where nothing happened. Instead, he gave just a tiny detail and moved on to the next scene where nothing happens.
You forgot to mention that they were still using AOL chat.
Oh, now you're here. Please meet Kawashira-sama Kane, the guardian of the human village and also history teacher at the village's school, Aileen said, noticing the presence of Rio and Raisin.
I would assume that Raisin would already know this.
Hi, my name is Sakakibara Ryochi. It's a pleasure to meet you, Kawashira-sama-san. Rio bows. Yeah, I'm Kawashira-sama Kane, the guardian of the human village and also teacher, and, as Miss Erin said, Kane bows. Then suddenly Rio stretches out his arm to Kane in meanings to handshakes. Shake hands.
Wait, you already bowed for a greeting. Shaking hands would be redundant.
And it would also be redundant to shake hands. Okay. I'm sorry, but I'm not very fond of outside world culture. Kane's a bit confused. Oh, sorry, I was meant to shake your hand, but perhaps it's uncommon to shake hands when meet.
So if these characters, in this case Kane, are very highly Japanese with little, if any, exposure to the outside world, how would she know about such customs like the handshaking? Realistically, she would just stare at Rio like he's an idiot.
It reminds me of an anecdote about the about a bunch of German soldiers. This one's on TV Tropes. I forgot what page, but a bunch of German soldiers tricked an American spy by saying "good luck" in English, and he responded "thanks" in English. Well, this is the equivalent here of saying, "No, I don't know about handshakes, but I'm not going to give you one." Rio takes his hand back, noticing it. It's okay. Let's don't have a fitting Kane voice. I'll just go with what I've been using. It's okay. It is quite hard adapting to other people's cultures suddenly. Raisin lifted her shoulder while smiling a bit.
You mean Kane?
I said Kane, didn't I?
You said Raisin.
No, I said Kane.
Okay.
Nay. Okay. Well, now... who's speaking? Well, now you're healthy and strong enough to do a living. Would you like to tell us what you're going to do now? Aideen asked.
Dude.
Rio was thinking for a while. I don't know. I do want to get back to my home as soon as possible, but on the other hand, I want to know more about Gensokyo. I love learning and exploring something new.
Oh, don't lie to yourself, kid. You want to spend your entire existence in beautiful, beautiful Gensokyo.
How good fish out of water stories work. The character seriously wants to stay in this new world, only to later tire of it, or okay, let's see. How did I word this? Okay. In a good fish out of water story, the character seriously wants to stay in the world, only to either tire of it,
or have something that keeps him from escaping. During all this, there are minor events that sway the protagonist towards leaving or staying. But it is the major events that finally tilt that decision towards staying in this world or wanting to escape it. So basically, it's either, oh man, life is going to rock in this new world. Oh, it sucks here. I want to get out of here in the end. Or it's, oh man, life's going to suck in this new world. Oh man, I just adapted to this place. And now here's how most bad fish out of stories work. The protagonist remains in constant cognitive dissonance about wanting to stay or leave, that makes a final decision on flimsy reasons, often at the very last second. Really, it's just an excuse to explore the fantasy world and not look at the implications of how this world will affect the character. I need to drink more Mountain Dew.
Must get to the dew.
That's what this writer should have done. Like D-O, the dew. Okay, Rio answered with a light smile. Who's speaking? I don't know. Oh.
Can't
Well, as returning you home, I'm afraid, so there's little chance, if not impossible, since the boundary was repaired yesterday's night. It'll be harder to break through. I'm not saying it's impossible.
But it's impossible.
Maybe I could help you in some way, Kane answered. Rio was only disappointed a bit. But if you like, you could settle in the human village and make a living there while you're looking of the way out.
Or you could stay forever. Forever. Forever.
Kane continues, which is making Rio's face happier.
His face is ecstatic, but the rest of him is dead on the inside.
Gee, I sure am worried about my friends and what my friends and family are thinking about my sudden disappearance, Rio should have thought. Really? Then I'll come with you then, Rio said. Well, okay, if you said so, Kane replies. They walk towards the entrance. Thank you for your hospitality, Miss Yagakoro, Rio bows to Aideen. It's okay, don't mention it.
I'd rather we'd never speak of this again.
Don't worry, this scene has absolutely no impact on the story, other than to introduce Racing Infodump, heal the protagonist Infodump, and Infodump. Oh, and randomly switch to English honorifics near the end of it. Miss Yagakoro. And it's Doctor, you coprophage.
Indeed.
To quote you. Ah, I forgot, Kane slaps her forehead.
Face palm.
I must visit Moko for a bit. Looking at the time, maybe I'll come back at the nightfall. She continues. Well, it cannot be helped. Racing, could you please escort Ryokun to the village? Yeah, switching honorifics again. Since you know quite too much of it too. Order Aideen to Racing.
I know what an escort really is. I've been on Craigslist. Bam, boom, bam.
Well, of course, Master, Racing answered. Never mind the fact that Kane is an experienced yokai hunter and Racing is a simple subordinate who relies on commanding other moon rabbits who are too unruly to listen to her orders whenever she's not selling medicine in the human village, who fear her for being a moon rabbit with the ability to make people go crazy, but the writer needs Gappy and his waifu to bond.
Indeed.
Also, never mind the fact that Racing's also a coward for the most part. Okay. Ah, Uran-san, please take Ryokun to my house for rest, okay? Perhaps you could cook for dinner, too, since I'll be home nightfall, Kane asked. Okay, Miss Kane.
Racing also takes orders from Kane, who isn't who isn't she a doormat toward?
Actually, in a strange way, this kind of characterization makes some sense, especially in the backwards universe of this fic. Now,
Am I coming in fine?
A what?
Am I coming in fine?
Oh yeah, monitor's looking fine.
Alright, cool.
And chat, while I'm reading this, respond in text about how we sound. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah. Now, take care. Kane wave and walks to separate way. Now let's go, Ryokun. Racing grabs Ryo's arm, tagging him along. Ailey notices Racin's behavior and a blush on her face. My, isn't this once in an eternity?
Not really. Teenagers fall in love much more often than you like to think, writer.
She chuckled when Racing and Rio is out of sight. It's already 2 p.m. at Rio's watch when he and Racing arrived at the village's gate.
Wait. The human village has a gate?
Well, technically, like, maybe
What?
early Japanese towns, I'd have to look that up.
Okay, I'll roll with it, but it better not be some kind of Arc de Triomphe.
Wow, this village is quite lively, Rio noticed with the crowds. Back in my world, a village is a very deserted place that so little people live there.
You know, except for all those several families in their huts. So it's not
Raisins-
exactly a village.
Raisin smiled. Well, this is the largest human village in Gensokyo. It's also the only human village in Gensokyo, but since it's the only human village, that technically makes it the de facto largest human village in Gensokyo. Overly narrow superlatives, ho!
Ba.
They walked while few people seeing them in curiosity and strange looks. Well, his clothes is quite similar with Raisin's clothes, while the villagers are wearing traditional kimonos.
Rio will soon find out that he is truly a Lunarian and must return to his Moonanite heritage.
I made my Gappy Stu look like the person he's going to fall in love with to show they truly belong together. Dirt-de-doo. When they passed a large building, Rio noticed the sign, Kamishirasawa Academy. So this, the name board, and quotation mark, Kawashirasawa Academy, so this is Kane's school, he said. Yes, it's also the first and only school in the village, Racing explained.
God forbid Gensokyo become a college town.
In canon, Kane's school isn't that big. Attendance is small, and everyone's more interested in straight-up yokai hunting than history. Canon!
Cannon!
Rio took a glance at the stores and buildings along the street. The bookstore, the flower shop, the tea shop, the sake bar, the butcher, the blacksmith, and many, many more.
The brothel, the Kurova milk bar, the back alley where you can score some serious rocket fuel and shrooms.
The rings.
The rings?
If you've ever seen the really bad review of Superman 64, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I see.
This way, Racing turned right by the intersection.
Where'd a car suddenly?
The street is pretty emptier than the previous street. It's less crowded here. Was that the main... Oh, it's less crowded here. Was that the main street, Rio asked. You could say so. It was the market district. If you go straight in the human village, you'll find all the village halls and offices and such. This is the suburban, Racing explained.
It's a village. Villages don't have a suburban. Villages are rural.
You read that out loud.
Rural.
When you read
What?
that out loud, this is the suburban. I just picture them standing in front of a car, a station wagon.
Indeed. Anyway,
Then they stopped at a 2-story house with the name board Kamishirasawa. So they've reached their destination. This is Miss Kane's house. She asked me to escort you to her place. In case you completely forgot. Maybe she meant to let you stay a night or more until you could go by yourself here, Raisin explained. Well, maybe I should thank her later when she's home. Raisin opened the door and enters the house, followed by Rio. She perhaps already been there a few times, since she's walking like she owns the house herself.
okay, so the two know each other. Question is, do they know each other?
Now my question is, how do they know each other?
Racing and Kane?
Yeah.
They're in the same game. Let's use new writer logic.
Okay. Then she opened a room at the second floor. Here, this is the guest room, Racing asked Rio to get in. You noticing a pattern, folks? The author rarely used the word said, but instead redundantly explains what the characters just did. The room is not very
Spaz complains about this guy's writing.
big. Exactly. The room is not very big, yet it's quite comfortable. How's it comfortable?
It's cozy.
How's it cozy?
It's small and comfortable.
Okay. There's a window
As a
facing...
prude, you're very unfamiliar with things that are tight and comfortable. Oh, snap!
Moving on. There's a window facing the street, and it bears a beautiful view of the village.
What with its couple houses and an unpaved road?
Rio puts the bag by the corner. Well, thank you for escorting me here, Racin. Rio thanked Racin with a smile.
This is silly. I remarked this story's silliness.
Racin, unnecessary
comma.
panicked a bit while her face suddenly blushed. It's Master's orders anyway. So it's okay, I'm happy when I could help you too. Since Miss Kane will return by nightfall, I'll prepare the dinner for you. Racin offered with a panicked tone.
Does this fic suddenly go when Harry met Sally on us? Those ones are coming from Racin. They're quite suspicious.
I'll have what she's having. Actually, when he was unconscious, they suddenly became married.
Oh, okay.
Oh, thanks, but it's not very necessary. Actually, I've had plenty of food inside my bag. Rio refuses. Food?
What's food?
Okay then, Racin answered with hesitation. But I'm curious, by the way, why is that bag so heavy? Well, what were you doing in the outside world before you were spirited away?
Were you carrying a chopped up corpse to your wood chipper?
She asked when suddenly there's someone by the door. Hello, is anyone home already? Kane's voice shouted from downstairs.
Wait, did Kitty just knock on the door to her own house? What?
That idea is even more hilarious. Just speaking it out loud.
Okay.
Oh, Wilhelm II said a monkey flew out of Spaztik's computer and trashed his room.
Okay.
I hope the stream's
If that's
coming
what
in
it
fine.
sounded like.
We're about at the 1 hour mark. Okay, let's see. Perhaps I'll tell you along her downstairs, Rio asked Racin to get downstairs.
So we're getting down to Racin's downstairs.
We're still in Chapter 1, Mini Witch 3. Yes, this fic is like freaking War and Peace of bad writing.
You want War and Peace? Try Keys to the Heart. I tried reading its latest sex scene, and yes, that fic does have sex scenes. It has literal IKEA erotica. I'm thinking, seriously, does this guy does this guy think that he just needs to write sex scene? He needs to show his character has a regular sex life or something?
Thing about sex scenes is, like so many things in storytelling, you use them for turning points. Specifically, sequence turning points, major act turning points, like giant moments in stories. In fact, one of these Station Love Child interludes is going to be one that involves a pretty big sex scene near the end of it. So look forward for that.
All the station wagon.
Okay, let's see. Kane noticed that they've arrived. You're there. It's not long as expected, so I returned early. Oh, hi, Kane. Yeah, well, Miss Kane, a while ago, Racin asked about my story of being spirited away. Would you like to listen too? Asked Rio. Of course, wanted to ask you the same thing, by the way.
We're all interested in your story that you'll just explain by saying, I was gapped here. Besides, I didn't know you already explained it to Racin and Aaron earlier this chapter.
I remember, folks, he was walking along the street when he suddenly blacked out, and he ended up, like, in Gensokyo. Got that?
Got that. He was on the street. Like a badass gangsta.
While Staying Alive was playing in the background, he was carrying a bucket of paint.
Oh yeah, because he's a painter. We
No.
haven't got to that part yet.
I was making a Saturday Night Fever reference, but that does make sense now. Okay. They're sitting by the table at the living room. Rio came back with 3 cans of coffee, milk, and lemon tea. Here, I've stocked a bit of my spacey bag. It will maybe taste different from the manually blended coffee and milk, but it's still good. He offered the coffee milk to Kane and Raisin. He demonstrated how to open the can.
It's not a good idea to offer processed canned food to people who have spent their whole lives eating rustically made homemade food. Homemade is way better, and Kane and Raisin are about to find out.
Then he begins his story.
Boo! Sorry, if there was the sun quietness, it was my headphones going up, and then I had to stretch my neck to refit them.
Okay. Then
When I
he
was going,
begins
nope.
his story, I said.
Nope, the chapter ends there. To be frank, I'm quite uninterested in this character's backstory. He has nothing interesting about him, just a suit and a bag full of stuff. By the way, you didn't answer why the bag's so heavy. Please explain that in the next chapter.
What we know about this character. He wears glasses and a suit like Raisin's. He is in love with Raisin. He enjoys small talk about not knowing about Gensokyo. He's also completely unfazed by the fact he's stuck in a fantasy realm, negating hundreds of years of scientific research and rationalization. What we don't know about the character. Is he a good guy or a bad guy? Is he hauling around a body or drugs or anything like that in his bag? Why is he adapting to this place like he's on a field trip?
Find out that he won't answer these questions and more in chapter 2. Chapter 3, chapter 2.
Same bat time, same bat channel. Alright, I'm going to break this up, and because this is such a long fic, I'm going to stop recording here, and then we'll pick up with chapter 2 when I start recording again.
Alright then. Break time.
Break time, break time, break time.
Break time.